Hey, come on. Quick.
What? Hey! What the hell? Oh, your batteries! He's just tried nicking my batteries.
What's happened, sir? I just heard you
I
shouting.
had 3 batteries here. I've now got 2.
Right.
There was 3 of them.
Yeah.
Got 1. Other 2's gone off this way, and I'm a battery missing.
Right. You've heard what the gentleman's had to say, haven't you? Yeah. Right. I'm now going to arrest you on suspicion of theft. You understand that? You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you're not mentioned when questions are being later on in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that? Yeah. Right. We're going to cuff you. Okay. Put your hands out front for me. Right, we're going to go to the police station. We're going to...
This is fairly typical of the sort of cases that we will get. Though, of course, we do get very serious offences being committed by young people. And for the first time in court, our options are very limited. And, of course, sometimes it can be quite difficult for us because they can commit very, very serious offences on the cusp of prison. And in which case, then, we'll give a long referral order. We always engage with the young person to try to find out why this happened, look at the background as to get some clues as to what this happened. We're also very concerned about the impact on the victim and the community at large and the home life, so that because we want to make sure that the young person does not reoffend again, we want them to have a good life, a useful life. But we also want to make sure that the victim has been recompensed, that they have done reparation work, because the point of a referral order is that they make them realise the severity of the offence they've done, but also to pay back to the community and especially the victim. I know it's very hard, sorry is the hardest word to say, but I think that is almost vital that they do that, because they must face up to what they have done and their responsibilities.
Providing that he says sorry and means it, I'm happy with that. It's when they're saying sorry and you're wondering if they really do mean it. What we've got to do is try and give them an experience from this, that they come out of this meaning what they're saying, if that makes sense. When they come and say sorry, it's possibly a formality, but we try to turn that into an experience where, yes, I am sorry, he's a nice guy, he's treated me well, I shouldn't have done that to him.
At first it was a bit like nerve-wracking because obviously he was the guy I committed the offence against. I didn't know what he was going to be like, but after a while I was just like, well, he's a reasonable man.
I would imagine that is quite difficult for a young person facing me, a mature, adult, and having to face up to what he's done. I would think that is quite difficult and not a nice experience at all. And in fairness, we don't want to make it a nice experience. He's been bad, he's done something he shouldn't have done, and we need to make him face up to it. I don't think it'll be easy for them at all. But, this is reality, this is life.
It is important for everybody to realise what you've done, and also I think if they do meet the victim, of course some victims may not want to meet them, they may be so traumatised that they don't want to meet the young person, but I think it's so important that they meet them face to face and they can explain the harm they've done. For example, there may be a theft and it may be some jewellery that they think's not of great value, but that may have great sentimental value to that person, may have been in the family a long time, and so the impact on the victim should be at the forefront of it. And there is no such thing as a victimless crime. All crimes will have a victim. It may be the community at large that's the victim as well. For example, when that play park in Valley Gardens was burnt down by a group of young people, the impact of that on the young children of Harrogate was huge. So this happens all the time, so that's why it's so important that they pay back to the community for the harm that they've done.
What are your thoughts on the referral orders?
Well, I think that they are good because it is a coming together of the parent or the guardian of the young person to meet with the panel, first of all to come to court and realise how serious the offence is, and then to meet with the panel on a regular basis where they can check on how the progress is. But I think it is also so important, again, I keep stressing this, that they do pay back, that there is reparation to the community and they engage with the victim, because we want them to realise the harm that they have done so that they don't reoffend again, because the whole point of the youth court really is to try to stop people from reoffending.
I'm glad that I've done the reparation and all that work for him now, because I'm kind of like, now that I come to think about it, I did like regret doing it to such like a nice guy like him, and I'm glad that I got someone so understandable that I did it to, instead of someone who just knocked my head off instead.
Get them to a garage, get them washing cars, get chatting to them, try to identify a little bit with them and say to them, look, you know, I could have been like you. You know, you're not on your own, you're not unique. I can look back over my lifetime. There's times when I could have done stupid things that you've done. And the saying is, there but for grace of God go I. And that is the case. I could have been like that. But various people over my lifetime have shown me a different side of things, and I've not gone down that route. So try to get to know them, try to get to think inside their brain if it's possible, and get to know them a little bit and befriend them, and come back to this bit, well, I'm sorry I did it because he's been a nice guy, he's helped me. So wash some cars, do a bit of tidying up, a bit of sweeping up, the mundane things that have to be done in a garage. Get them a cup of coffee, chat to them, talk to them, try and get inside their minds and see what makes them tick. And hopefully at the end of the day, they've realised there's a different side to life than what they've been doing.
The ideal outcome is for them to complete the order successfully, to engage well with all that they have to do, for them to turn their back on reoffending, for them to realise that this isn't the way to go, because they're young, they've got their whole lives ahead of them, and we want them all to have good, happy lives where they'll play a role in society and, you know, just have a good life. And we don't want them to be burdened by the fact that they're going to have a criminal record, because even with a referral order, that will show up on the criminal record when they do CRB checks. And that is a huge problem. I mean, that is the system. It may not be right that when somebody commits an offence through being foolish when you're young, that it can affect you later. But that is the situation. And you just don't want this to happen to young people. We just want them to have a good life. And also, hopefully, that they will have made reparation and seen the victims, so that the victims then are not feeling as aggrieved or upset about what's happened.
Yeah, I learnt that it was not just my order, it was from like the whole experience of going to court, because obviously I don't want to go to court again because that was quite nerve-wracking, so that's going to make me stop offending. And it's also just, it emphasised what everyone had been saying about, for example, consequential thinking, like thinking about things before I did it. And now that I've been doing that, it's life seeming to get better and better, and things are starting to go my way now. So.
What about your friends that you used to hang around with? Are you still seeing them?
No, I don't really see them anymore. Some of them, they just keep on getting in trouble. Like they've had orders like this, but they've had longer ones for doing more serious crimes. And I'm starting to like speak to like my old friends that I used to play football with now, so yeah, I don't really get in contact with them.
These kids are capable of producing and doing some good work if you give them the chance. Yeah. It's worth trying, because otherwise they're going to finish up on the scrap heap, nobody helping them. And if you don't try to turn them round and give them some purpose in life, you know, they're going to go nowhere.
You know, it's important that they work with the teams that are trying to get them to address their offending behaviour.